No, really? Sweet. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, can you hear me? Kind of loud. I want to do any feedback. Okay, I call this council meeting to order at 6 p.m. It's August the 12th, 2025. Rose, do we have a quorum?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay, thank you. All right, so would Roy Ramos, who is the chartered organization representative of our local Scouting America Troop number 1099, please come forward and lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of the city and for the opportunity to participate in its governance. We ask that you grant wisdom and discernment to our city council members as they deliberate on the issues that affect our daily lives. Help them to be good stewards of our resources, to listen to the voices of all citizens, and to make decisions that promote the well-being and flourishing of our entire community. We pray for unity and mutual respect in this meeting, and we ask for your blessing on all who work to make our city a better place. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
At this time, we have our public comments. Roy, since you're just here, come on up and give you a microphone.
Mayors, city council members, and fellow citizens, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to discuss the recent article published in the community.
Boy, I can't hear you. You gotta put your microphone right up to
Sorry.
your mouth. Speak
Is that
loud.
better? Okay. Okay.
Talk loud.
Okay.
Wait for Todd to turn your volume up.
Is that better? Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to address the recent article published in the community news titled Staff Presses Harassment Claims. While I recognize the importance of a free press in our democracy, I also believe that with that freedom comes a responsibility to report with fairness, clarity, and professionalism. This article, unfortunately, does not meet that standard. Its tone is deeply concerning. It relies on emotionally charged language and inflammatory accusations, many of which are presented without verification or rebuttal. Words like lunacy, vindictive, warpath, and extreme and outrageous conduct do not inform, they provoke. And while the article briefly notes public support for Mayor Palmer, it overwhelmingly amplifies staff grievances and legal claims while creating a one-sided narrative. Clarity is also lacking. The article jumps between incidents, conference disputes, agenda changes, confrontations with residents without clear structure or context. Legal terms are introduced without explanation, and procedural references are left vague. For our residents, this makes it difficult to understand what's actually at stake. The implications of this kind of reporting are serious. It risks undermining public trust in our city's leadership, polarizing our community, and demoralizing the very staff who work hard to serve Willow Park. It also exposes individuals to reputational harm without due process or balanced coverage. We must do better together. I respectfully call on our local media to uphold the principles of ethical journalism, to seek truth, provide context, and report with integrity. And I encourage all of us here, elected, officials, staff, and residents, to recommit to transparency, civility, and the rule of law. Let us not be defined by conflict, but by our shared commitment to serve Willow Park with honor, professionalism, and respect. Thank you.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Yes? Okay. Next we have Clifford, how to say it, Boris? Reese?
That's okay. You got the Clifford right. I'm
I
good with
do.
that. Good evening, everybody. Mayor, city councilman, and citizens. I'm honored to have the right to speak tonight and the opportunity
Yeah.
that gives us living in the United States, the great state of Texas, in the city of Willow Park. I want first to congratulate Scott Smith for his appointment as Willow Park Council member. With our current members, or current mayor and city council members, I hope for better things out of all of you. I challenge each of you that you will move Willow Park forward and be respectful to each other and to the people that run the city of Willow Park each day. It's okay to disagree on the direction of how the city should move forward, but at the end of the day, you accept the decision and support the majority. I would also like to thank the 13 citizens that put their names in to fill the vacant position for this council. I am only guessing that this is the most that we ever has put names in for one position. It's a good thing. I'd like to share my thoughts of the process of how the interview process of the 5 candidates for place 4 was done. I would have liked to seen the process of the interview be done in an open meeting with the citizens able to see how the council conducted the interview with each candidate. All 5 candidates would be put into separate rooms and called out one at a time, and each candidate would be asked the same questions by council members and mayor. Once done, the candidates would be released to the room, and another candidate would become before the council and mayor, and so on until the candidates are all interviewed. 3 things would be accomplished here. 1, how the council conducts the interview process. 2, how each candidate responded. 3, transparency. Last but not least, I received a notice of a public hearing for the City of Willow Park Planning and Zoning Commission concerning a Class 1 Special Purpose PD/O Development District for 721 Ranch House Road. We went through this on February 27th of 2024 when it was voted on. And the citizens had to say in the approval of certain limitations that they could have. I don't want to see them to have any more opportunities to expand. I don't care. That's and most of the people of the 7 people that have within the 200-foot range feel. So I will get the petition presented in a timely manner and for you guys to look at. One thing on this property, there's been a sign that says rent or lease since over a year now. I just asking, because I don't know the answer, how long that sign can be up, and should it be standing straight up or tipping down, like if it's just that. I also want to bring up, I noticed from another resident close to me about the Christmas lights. I think it's a great deal. I do want to say, since you're putting them on the fire department, there to be some kind of control at night, what time they go off, and that you guys are in charge of city employee or of turning them on and off, not like the contractor last year. They're bright, they're pretty, but they're not fun when they're coming shining into your window. Thank you for my opportunity.
And next we have Jean Martin.
Jay Martin, I'm still at 700 Kingsgate. They can't hear, I can hear real well.
Yeah.
Wow. Better? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention and the opportunity to share a bit of perspective. You will, I hope, recall that in your last meeting, I pointed out that the city council is a structure with both a history set by prior councils and a future that will benefit from the actions that you take in the present. Sadly, the only benefit some councils suffered was limited to gaining the experience necessary to correct errors and issues created by their predecessors. Most of you know I have a long history of being involved with this city council. Most of you do not know what drove me to that involvement, nor the issues faced then by the council. In 1992, the council was focused on tying Willow Park's future to the aspirations of Trinity Meadows Racetrack. They did so with little regard for state law or our own municipal code. The latter was hardly surprising because the city code books were indecipherable. Codification from 1986 had never been updated. That was no excuse for conducting illegal meetings to give Trinity Meadows anything they wanted. In fact, the permanent zoning that was passed in 1993 was forced on the city through explicit political blackmail. Well, enjoy a beer with anybody who wants to know more about that. That zoning was the reason development on that prime real estate was delayed for 20 years after Trinity Meadows went bankrupt in 1996. In fact, that year, the council became desperate to replace the revenue that they had come to expect from Trinity Meadows. Between tripling the property tax rate and entertaining proposals to establish an Indian reservation and casino where Meadow Place now stands, it occurred to me that the council needed a change in direction. A successful rollback election was held in early 1997, and by May of 1998, all 6 positions had been changed. Back then, the biggest issues were water and roads. What a surprise. Water system maintenance and operation had been outsourced for years. We created the city-run water department in 97. The 1998 and the 99 council created the plan and set funding to create the 2 elevated tanks to fix the water pressure. Most of the city and ran a 10-inch line to Willow Springs to fix their capacity problems. In accordance with a state plan and mandate, we started dealing with Weatherford for surface water. In short, when the council in 2000, when I left the council in 2001, the water system was working better, but still struggling with too many recurring leaks. You all never heard this kind of story. It was good enough for the 2005 council to decide it would be a great idea to take on the maintenance and operation and buy the Deer Creek and Dygard system. Back to the roads. The 2007 council got a $5 million bond issue passed to fix roads. By 2009, little work had been done to fix any roads. Turns out the council was focused on creating a new road between Chuckwagon and Ranch House. The idea was to create a circulation loop and enable retail development along the one-way service road. Laudable plan, but not the one the voters thought they approved. And yes, I decided the council once again should be refocused. Between 2009 and 2017, the councils fixed a lot of roads, fixed a lot of pipes, resolved lawsuits created by taking on the Deer Creek and Digard water system, dealt with a lawsuit from Weatherford over having an X land in their ETJ, initiated contract negotiations for water from Fort Worth, initiated and approved the development planning for the Wilkes development and created the TERS, passed the government obligation bonds for the new public safety building and started that design process. Y'all want to hear the rest of this? It's about a minute.
Okay, let's be respectful. Ramp it up real quick.
Well, what could have been done by councils as a whole or by individual members to mitigate or avoid some of the issues left for others to resolve? Be familiar with the Willow Park Municipal Code. Understand how state law affects council actions. Be aware of the core attitudes of Willow Park voters by keeping the comprehensive plans and capital improvement plans current. Be aware of how councils for neighboring cities react to our actions. Be aware of the details of proposals you are asked to approve. The lawsuits mentioned could have been avoided if someone, anyone, had read and given a little thought to what they were passing. An analysis of the TERS 1 might have been useful to assess planning for TERS 2. And last, never approve a development agreement that would explicitly provide pre-approval of annexation or zoning, thus bypassing required public notices and public hearings and subvert the role of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Next we have Mary Dietrich.
Good evening. My name is Mary Dietrich, and I'm standing before Mayor Teresa Palmer because back in May 13th, she became our mayor. And I've lived in the city of Willow Park for the past 5 years. And as a resident, I've come before the council members with a concern, and it was simply ignored. And so when Teresa went out, she heard the residents, she gave us a voice, and her campaign was ran on change. And I believe that she's trying her best to put that change into our city. Okay? Some of you can sit there and may not be happy what I have to say. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. I'm very concerned as a resident who's witnessed what Teresa has been going through on a public level. And to me, as a female looking in, it seems very sexist. And I know that that is very hard to hear. But this is what I'm witnessing as a female who's a resident in the city of Willow Park. This needs to stop. Y'all need to stop letting brokers chime in, developers chime in, and try to smear our mayor across social media. That's uncalled for. And I won't forget the, who was it? Oh, yes, the developer who told us how we should behave in our own city. And I appreciate, what was the term? Was it more human? I think that's what the term was. But he's out of Peaster. Let him put a big development in his backyard or in his area. And I promise you, the people of Peaster won't be silent. So if I'm wrong, if this is not a case of sexism, can we do better to move forward and work together? Because I believe that the city of Willow Park is a good city and can be. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
we have Dixie Smith.
Here I am again. Here we all are.
Speak loud, Mike. That's it.
Hello, everyone.
Really loud.
I'm a soft-spoken person, but I will do my best. Thank you, council, as I said at the last meeting, for giving us this opportunity. And as I said at the last meeting, hello to the citizens of Willow Park. I will always acknowledge you because you're the most important people in this room. Thank you for being here. I almost didn't get out to make these remarks because we're all tired of the he said, she said, entrenched direction we've been going in. But I have to say this, I think this is important and it should be highlighted. We should stick a pin in it. It has to do, again, with on Thursday, August 7th, the Community Inquirer, editor Randy Keck, published an article titled Willow Park Staff Presses Harassment Claims. The article is based on 2 internal city staff emails. They're linked within the article, each marked as containing confidential and legally privileged information. Staff 1 individual's email was sent to Councilman Sean Gilliland, Eric Contreras, Chief Ray Lacy, and City Manager Brian Barnes. 24 hours exactly later, the second staff's email was sent to City Secretary Deanna McMullen, Councilman Eric Contreras, Sean Gilliland, Nathan Crummell, City Manager Brian Grimes. 3 recipients are common to those 2 emails, Sean Gilliland, Eric Contreras, and Brian Grimes. Why does this matter? Both emails contain the warning that replying to all could violate the Texas Open Meetings Act, TOMA, and that any dissemination of the message is strictly prohibited. Yet these 2 confidential memos from 2 different city employees, sent exactly 24 hours apart, were leaked to Mr. Keck and then linked in his news article. Why do we have a leaker in our city hall? This double leak in the same time frame not only raises questions about confidentiality and breaches within City Hall, but also suggests possible coordination of their release. And I know that's no non-issue. It's important to note Mr. Keck did contact Mayor Palmer prior to publication of her comment. However, on the advice of council, she couldn't reply. She declined to comment, not to avoid the truth, because there is a reply that addresses each one of those issues brought up in that article. And believe me, they're credible and they should be heard. But Mayor Palmer chooses to lead with grace and not he said, she said. However, on the advice of counsel, she declined to comment, not to avoid the truth, but to follow sound legal counsel in the face of a no-win situation, where granting the interview could be portrayed as legitimizing a story likely already framed against her, as were prior articles. Remaining silent could be spun as evasion. In this case, discretion was the wiser path. The article also quotes Mr. Brian Grimes' personal attorney, Mr. Trey Lofton, making degrading personal comments about Mayor Palmer, including mocking her for quoting scripture in public. Quoting scripture in public.
I didn't say it.
I believe that's what I just said. Mr. Grimes' personal attorney, Mr. Trey Lofton, making degrading personal comments about Mayor Palmer. Don't twist my words any more than they already have been. Including mocking her for quoting scripture in public, accusing her of pretending to be some kind of suffering sacrifice. Any scripture Mayor Palmer quotes comes from a sincere heart grounded in faith and grace. To twist that intent into something cynical is just wrong. Equally troubling is the fact that one of the citizens targeted in Mr. Keck's article was not contacted for comment until after his typical response cutoff time. This rush to publish effectively denied fair opportunity to respond, and that denial was compounded by the fact she was dealing with priority medical issues during the unreasonable time frame he allowed. There's more, but I respect the time frame. Thank you, council. Thank you, mayor. Thank you for leading us this through.
Okay, I'm gonna run over here to mine. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I can talk pretty loud. Thank you.
Okay. thank you. Okay. Psalm 133, 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Thank you. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. Moving forward to our regular agenda items, we have item 1, discussion, action, appoint a mayor pro tem and alternate mayor pro tem. This item is sponsored by Councilman Runenbaum. Council, is there a motion or discussion or action?
Both these positions, so.
Okay. So I'm going to make a discussion if I can. Okay. Under the Texas Local Government Code, section 22.037D, if the mayor and the presiding pro tem are absent, any alderman may be appointed to preside at the meeting. I don't think Willa Park needs an alternate. Pro tem, I would like to provide the opportunity for any member of this council to run a meeting when the pro tem is unavailable. Designating an alternative pro tem removes the opportunity from other members of council. One question I have that y'all might know since I'm new here is what led to the city of Willow Park adding an alternate mayor pro tem? Do y'all know that have been here a while?
We had a situation where, sorry, can y'all hear me? Okay. We had a situation, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, where we had the mayor was out and the mayor pro tem was out. And we knew that was coming, and there was no process to who would actually run the meeting. And so at that point, they decided to appoint the mayor and the alternate mayor pro tem.
I was going to say, having served as one of those alternate mayor pro tems that stepped in on one of those occasions where both the mayor and the mayor pro tem was out, I was already known in place that I would step in at that time for that when I was serving as the alternate. I believe back in 2021 or 2022 when both Mayor Moss and Councilmember Young were out. Sorry.
Okay, do y'all know what other small cities have 2 mayor pro tems? Y'all know that? Okay, 1 in the total of Texas does an alternate. And that's kind of where we are right now. So do we have a recommendation on a motion from council? Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I know, right?
So I'm just curious, you brought up there's only one other alternate, and I have no issue with anybody leading. Is just a personal preference that we don't? Is there something I'm missing from a different perspective as to why we wouldn't have somebody in place, because this has happened before as stated? So just trying to figure out, I have zero issue with not appointing one, but I'm just curious the thinking behind it, and love to hear your reasoning.
So the difference is if we have a quorum, there's enough city council, that I think everyone should be allowed the opportunity to run the meeting if we have the mayor and the pro tem. If we have them out, I think that if we have enough council people, everybody should be allowed the opportunity, whether it's you, Scott, or you, or anyone else. So that's why I mentioned that, and I mentioned the code. And since only one other city does it in the full of Texas, that's why I just mentioned that. Right? Okay.
I think the only thing I would ask, I'll just talk loud.
Okay.
That we do have something in place then, like if we're not gonna have an alternate pro tem, that we have something in place to designate who's gonna be it, like if it's a numbering system, if it's a Rochambeau, whatever you wanna call it, and how it gets happened. Other than just coming in here blindsided about who's gonna run the meeting and having a battle of wits of doing that.
You're gonna need a presiding officer. And
Yeah.
it was the impractical name of the presiding officer at that meeting.
Right.
Right, you have a quorum of city council. So if you want to do it by the number, it's fine too.
I'm
It's
fine
up
with
to
all
you.
of it, but just make sure we have a process so we know where it is, where somebody doesn't claim, well, I should do it, I have seniority, well, I should do it, I'm number one, place one, those sorts of things. So as long as we have something like that set up where we know the hierarchy, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So if y'all want to, if you want to have the hierarchy like that, you can have pro tem. Y'all can elect a pro tem, and then if you want to go with place one, and if you want to do that, that's fine too. Y'all have a motion up here, the council, do you have a motion?
Yeah, so just the motion on updating the,
I would move to appoint X, whoever y'all want to appoint Mayor Pro Tem.
Right. That's what we're doing, yes, thank you.
Here, let's say alternate, so in the absence of Mayor Pro Tem, I'm asking Andy, we could say council member most seniority. council-
Yeah, so the way I have seen that done is a variety of methods. One is usually seniority. That's generally what happens. Secondly, it's just a motion and agreement by the council who it's going to be, and they have to vote on.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Because the citizens don't know who you are. Go ahead.
I'm Andy Messer.
Your mic. There you go.
Everybody, my name's Andy Messer. I'm an attorney at Messer Fort in Frisco, Texas. That's Quas. Senior lawyer in our office is here with us tonight as well. We are here to provide legal guidance for the meeting. We have submitted our proposal for engagement as an interim city attorney. It's on the agenda tonight. We have offices in Frisco, Dallas, Abilene, and Austin of about 25 lawyers. And all our lawyers practice exclusively municipal law, represent about 100 municipalities in the North Texas area, from small, medium to very large. We also represent cities exclusively in litigation. We have 3 lawyers, including myself, that are panel counsel from the Texas Municipal League that get assigned cases to represent cities about a 100-mile radius around the state. And we also represent other municipalities around the state like Brownsville, Starbase. We just incorporated Starbase down in South Texas for SpaceX. Anyway, all we do is represent cities and provide guidance for city issues. So I'm here tonight to provide some guidance. In my context, I've practiced municipal law over 30 years, so happy to help out and guide the city any way I can.
Thank you. Okay, it sounds like possibly your advice is that we have a mayor pro tem, and then we go by seniority if the mayor and the pro tem are not here. Does that sound reasonable? Is that the council? Okay.
I guess my question was, our attorney, then do we need to make that motion in a specific way to set up the guideline, or is that just a?
Yeah,
That's
you would have to
policy.
include that in the motion if that's an issue that you. And you might want to, and you can do it by voice vote. You can also do it by a resolution, so it's in writing and it's signed and everybody will always be able to find it. It's a permanent record for the city. Either way are fine.
Right, so if y'all want to make a motion, if anybody wants to make a motion, we can do that. Any council wants to make a motion? No? Okay, we have no city council making a motion. Is that right? Councilman Runenbaum, you're the sponsor. So do you want to make a motion?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay.
That either Mayor Pro Tem or present and the senior, we say that the senior council member.
Yes, the senior, yeah, member of the council, but the,
On the meeting.
yeah, presiding officer.
We have a second?
Second.
A second. Nate, you hear? Nate Hummel? Pro Tem? Yes, and then the senior councilman runs it if the mayor and the pro tem are out. And so we have a second. So all in favor? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, so item 2, discussion action amend ordinance 740-19, changing the city attorney to an officer of the city and reporting to city council. This item is sponsored by Brian Grimes, but had been requested on a prior agenda by former Councilwoman Leah Young. Has everyone on the council had an opportunity to review the proposed ordinance? Since the council was not provided with an ordinance in this with this item, I provided one that had been emailed to Leah and Eric Contreras in mid-July with a request that they sponsor this item. The draft ordinance correctly places the municipal attorney under the direction of the council. So do we have discussion on this item? Any discussion from the council?
The gist is that it takes city manager out and it says mayor and city council. And the compensation may be fixed by the mayor and city council. Those are the two primary differences, the current ordinance that we have. Meets the standard that you asked for me to provide.
Allows the city attorney to answer to, oh, we do the hiring.
Yes, that's correct.
If you have.
So do we have more discussion on that?
Basically, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Prior to this, the city attorney would answer to the city manager. At this point, if we pass this, the city attorney will answer to council and mayor. It won't go, it basically, we're cutting the city manager out of the loop on it. And that'd be for hiring, firing, whatever we need, basically.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know,
so it'd be officer of the city, right? Am I saying that right? Okay.
Okay, thank you. So is there a recommended motion? Is there a motion to approve the ordinance as presented? Nate, do you want to read it?
I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance of the city of Willow Park, Texas, amending chapter 9, personnel of the Code of Ordinances by amending Article 9.02, officers and employees, Division 4, city attorney, changing the appointment and supervision of the municipal attorney, providing a savings clause, and providing an effective date.
Okay, Sean, we have a second. All in favor? Okay, the motion passes.
Where can we find a copy of that?
It's on the packet. If it got updated. Yeah. It's on the packet on the website. It is now. Yes. Thank you. Okay, item 3, discussion action, consider approval of an engagement letter for interim city attorney services. This item is sponsored by Councilman Gilliland. Did we receive the necessary documents for this item, Councilman Gilliland? And if so, has everyone had the opportunity to review the engagement letter for Messer Fort Hearn?
The letter did come in. I think it was addressed to you, me, and Brian. Now, I don't know that any, if it's been sent out to any of the, has it been sent out to any other council? Okay. Do y'all want to take time to review that now, or I just came in today, so.
Do the highlights.
You can go over that and tell us who signed that.
It's a standard letter agreement that our law firm uses when we are engaged as city attorney by a city. This one says it's for interim city attorney services, but either way, it's terminable at will by either side with written notice. So if y'all are displeased with our services and you want to terminate, it can be done by an email. Vice versa, we pretty much operate, in my view, on integrity and honor. And if people don't want us there, we're not going to be there. You want us there, we're going to be there. We're going to be there for the city. We have standard hourly rates. As you know, marketplace is becoming more expensive. Our overhead costs are as well. So our city attorney rates are $230 per hour for a lawyer, 100 and I think it's 5 for law clerks, 150. We do have a planner, a certified planner on staff that we use for rapidly developing cities like yourself, like Fate, like Salina. Find that very useful, and that's $150 an hour. Actual expenses are charged at the actual expenses, whatever those are. Like if we have a lawsuit and we have a court reporter, whatever the court reporter fees are, they are passed on to the city at that cost. Investigators, experts are passed on at whatever the experts and consultants costs are. That's pretty much the gist of the letter. It provides a hotline and the state bar address if the complaint needs to be filed, feels like the rules of ethics have been violated. We're obligated to provide that in our engagement letters, which we do. That's the gist of what it says. I have signed it, and I'm sorry. No, it would need to be. It would have to be approved or modified, whatever, before anybody could sign it. It's a contract.
So we can't answer questions from the audience. Thank you. Perfect.
I will say I reached out to a number of law firms. Messer Fort was very comparable, extremely good pricing compared to some of the others. They were very fast to respond, and they come with good regard from people I've researched. I also had a few people from the community reach out, and one of them actually suggested their law firm as well too.
Thank you.
Here, all
Okay.
the council members get to see what Sean had proposed. Did everybody read it before the meeting started? Mike?
No, that's what we were talking about. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to hear, but it's a letter that they're not going to engage in until the city council votes. So that's what we're here to do. And we're about to do that.
I think when you put people under pressure, if there was a vote that for them, then everybody should be able to see the material before they have to make a decision, because a decision should not be made if you don't have all the information.
Okay, so Sean actually was voted on to acquire the information on attorneys. So that was the process, and that's what we did. As far as assigning a councilman to do that is what we did. Okay, so we're not going to,
Got it 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. We just got the engagement letter this afternoon.
Okay, so you didn't have that to anyone else earlier then? Until I asked for it this afternoon?
No, I think I sent it to city manager. Maybe earlier this morning. I know I provided it before I talked to you.
I got it.
And then, so, but, you know, a potential solution, fair point, is, you know, if you feel comfortable appointing our firm as interim city manager and table the engagement letter until the next council meeting, then you can make sure you all have time to look at it, read it, and if you're comfortable, that's great. If you're not,
Okay, so you'll, a lot of these items are now tied to having an attorney. So if you want to take the time to have everyone read it, then maybe we should do that, or we're gonna have to table a lot of items.
I'm saying there's a motion to appoint Messer Ford as interim city attorney and table the engagement letter to the next council meeting. That way I can provide the services, but the engagement letter won't be signed. And if you don't feel comfortable at the next meeting, that's council call to you, right?
Hey, Sean?
Basically, we get the service time.
Right.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so we're doing a temporary service. So are we gonna go ahead and recommend a motion to accept the terms of engagement for a temporary service for tonight? Is that what we're gonna do as a council?
Point Messer and Ford is our interim city attorney. And then we'll do the final agreement and vote on it next council.
Okay, do we have a second? Seconded, okay, great. All in favor? Okay, motion passes. Okay, item 4, our CPA, Jake Weber, is going to give us our third quarter financial update now. Please step forward, Jake. Here you come. You're fast. Here, I'm going to give you the microphone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Speak really loud.
I'll do my best to run through this. So this is going to be your third quarter, June 30th year end or period end. And so for, I don't know if Mayor, you've been through this, or I know Councilman Smith, this is new for you. So I'm just real quick going to go over the reports. So y'all are kind of clear on what's in here, and obviously any questions along the way, let me know. I'm going to explain a few things that I'm seeing on the financials, and obviously, like I said, any feedback or questions you have, let me know. So page 1 is really just a snapshot of where we're at through June 30th. So you see on that top section, it's going to give you, hey, where are we at? Total revenue, total expense, when we compare that to budget, where are we at as a percentage of that? So that kind of gives you an idea of where are we tracking year to date on each of our major funds. In the middle there is a capital project tracker. So that's going to look on our major projects that we've had. Those are all through bond proceeds. So you can kind of see, okay, what did we originally receive? What have we spent so far? And what do we have left? What kind of cash do we have left on those projects? And so that allows you to see where we're at on those major city projects that are going on. The bottom part gives you, it just expands a little more detail on the revenue type and expense type again, so you can compare also the last year, where we're at year over year on the financials. If you look at page 2, it's going to give you every bank balance that we have in the city. And so when I'm up here, I'm going through our 3 major funds, which is general, water, wastewater, but we have other minor funds and restricted funds. And so that's what you see on some of those other accounts down there. So that just, again, if you want to see how much cash do we have within each fund or some of these other accounts, that allows you to see that and also compare to the prior period. So I just wanted to point that out. And then that third page is going to give you just some graphical overview of some financial highlights. So for example, the cash balance, it breaks it down between how much do we have in operations, how much do we have available in reserves / investments, what is restricted. So again, when you look at the cash balance, that's not all available for you. Some of that is restricted for specific purposes. I think your tourism fund, you can only use that for certain things. You have some court funds that have to be used for court purposes. And then your committed cash, that's going to be committed for capital expenditures, right? We issued a bond, we have to spend that money, it's still in the bank, but that's what that represents there. And then this other one is going to be your debt balance by fund. So this is going to say, hey, as of June 30th, how much debt does each fund hold? And this is going to be the principal balance on each fund. And I back down the portion that Hudson Oaks pays on the water line, just so you can see, hey, what are we obligated? The principal balance as of June 30th is 59,275,000. And if I do, what's our total debt service that we have? Again, if I back off the Hudson Oaks portion, it's about 85 million. So you look at just our grand total, and it's about 95 if you add in Hudson Oaks. But again, they're reimbursing us some of that for their portion. And then below that, it gives you a 12-month moving average of our major revenue sources. So your sales tax, your property tax, and then your user charges. So you can kind of see, hey, where are we trending big picture on sales tax, property tax, water, wastewater, user fees, all that kind of stuff. And so does that give you a good idea again when you're looking at, and then below, and then all the pages beyond that is every single general ledger account we have on the books. So you can see every single account, what's the activity. So if there's anything you want to go ask about or look at, it's available on those supplemental pages. I'm not going to go through every one of those pages because obviously there's hundreds of accounts on that, but it allows you to at least look at that and see what's there. So just a couple things. I guess any questions so far on what we've talked about?
What's the debt? What's the interest rate on Fort Worth water?
The Fort Worth water, it's around 1, very, very low on some of those because we got supplemented with the Texas Water Development Board. And so on the water and wastewater, it's extremely low on those. And that helps keep our payment amounts down on that. Yeah, probably in that neighborhood. Yeah, because
Financed at 1.5 or less.
yeah, I'd say that's fairly accurate. I'd have to look at the schedules, but yeah, it is very low because we were able to get those issued several years ago. So within the major funds, I'll just highlight general fund. Right now, we have a surplus 676,000. So you think, okay, that's good. It's where we want to be. If we look, we got 3 months to go. It will probably end up close to about break even because you think we get a lot of our revenue in December, January, February with our, M&O tax. And so we spend that down throughout the year. It's a little over, again, we have that surplus. So sales tax is actually coming a little bit better than we thought. We budgeted 2,050,000. I think we may hit about 2.2 on that. And yeah, so we've already hit that. So that's helping. That's a little extra revenue. And our expenses are down just a little bit, as a percentage of where we think we'd be. Not much capital, and that's part of it. You haven't had a lot of capital expenditures in general fund. Your water fund, so we're down about 500,000 year to date. And there's really 3 reasons for that. What I would say is, one is you think, the weather, it's been a wetter weather. So our user fees are a little low on that fund. We're 2,154,000. And our budget was 3.3, and so I think we're going to end up under on that on our revenue. We did purchase that new piece of equipment. It's like 360,000 that y'all approved a month or 2 ago. And then you have the legal fees on the lawsuit with HAF. And that's at 309,000 this year alone that's gone out the door. And so obviously you hope that you get reimbursed those with some, but that again, it's hitting your P&L, it's hitting, that's outgoing money. And so as a result, we have had to move some money from reserves in the water fund in operations just to, kind of cover some of those costs. We still have a good reserve balance. We got about 1.4 million in water reserves. So we have a strong water reserve balance, but just kind of want to give you an idea of, what's causing that. Yeah. And Brian can explain a little more. So that's basically related to when the Fort Worth water line was being planned, we issued debt and it goes into the interest rate you just mentioned. Oh, the number, I'm sorry, 309,000. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you asked for what was the history on that. Anything else? So wastewater, you see, we have a surplus of 283. Most of that, actually, we're basically break even. If you pull out the interest on the bank accounts that hold our bond money, which we can't use for operations, we're basically break even, which is fine because really it covers where we need to be. We've had to increase our rate on our user fees for wastewater to get that fund to stand alone. And so we're there. And I don't think anything in Q4 is going to have a major impact on that fund. So we should be able to basically break even on that fund. One thing I just kind of want to put in your ear on the wastewater fund as more of a future decision financially is obviously you're constructing the package plant now. You have the temporary one. The annual debt service on that is about 265,000. And the remaining total debt is 1.7 million. So obviously that's a decision as to what will be done with that. But financially, that would be, again, your annual debt service plus your debt that's owed on that when you're looking at those decisions. And then also, how will you handle or what do you want to do with the cash when Hudson Oaks comes and buys in, not only for the construction, but also for the operations? And so those are, I don't know that it'll affect this year's budget, but things to have in your mind that will come into play down the road. Any questions on anything that we went over?
Jay. Item 5, we will now receive a budget update. Thank you.
We will now receive a budget update for fiscal, year 2025-2026. This item is sponsored by staff. I would like to note that the 2025 tax rate calculation worksheet was included in the online packet materials for citizens to review, and it shows a no new revenue rate set at 0.424084. Our 2024 property tax rate was 0.432546. So this shows a reduction of almost 8.5 cents from last year. Which member of the staff is presenting this item?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, the tax rate calculation was due on August 7th. We got that in to the CAD. Preliminary, so we'll go through the schedule. August 26th, which is the next meeting, we are scheduled to have a preliminary rate hearing. You're going to vote on the preliminary tax rate on August the 26th, and then adopt the tax rate on September the 9th. Attorney Chesser advised us to come back on September the 10th to do the budget. I got that backwards, excuse me. The budget on September the 9th and the tax rate on September the 10th. I was going to visit with Andy about this and perhaps visit with Bill Longley at TML. We're going actually below the no new revenue rate. I've budgeted based off of the tax rate calculations, a tax rate of 0.421646. It's slightly below the no new revenue rate, but it is below the no new revenue rate. So we will not be going above that. But on the 26th, you will have a roll call vote on the tax rate. We will set a public hearing for September the 9th and perhaps September 10th. I need to visit with council about that. And then you will have your budget and tax rate done hopefully by September the 10th. I have not been given any directive to make any changes to the budget. We've kept a couple of the line items in there. They're probably inflated. We can cut those back if we need to in certain areas, but there were some uncertainties during the budget process, and I always felt it was nice to budget high and we can cut it later if we have to. Michelle, did we put 50, 210, 212 on there today? We have not put this one up? Okay, we'll put this one up. Yeah, we did. Yeah, this is the one we put up today. Notice about tax rates. We just uploaded this to the website today. Debt service fund balance is unencumbered is 115,000, and our unencumbered fund balance in the general fund is 2.3 million. It lists all of our debt obligations. Page 2 is for the county, and page 3 is my signature on Form 5212. That's going to be part of the budget process. State of Texas added a lot of more requirements for us this year, and we're trying hard to meet those requirements.
Thank you. Does the council have any more questions on the fiscal 2026 budget?
We need at least 4 members here for.
Yes, that- You will need, yes, I'm sorry, thank you. You will need a supermajority of council here to adopt the tax rate.
Okay, September 9th.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to have a supermajority here on the 26th for the proposed tax rate. It is a roll call vote.
Okay, thank you. All right, so on item 6, we have citizen comment. Mark Wagner wanted to speak.
I believe this is about the parcel of land that's at the northwest corner of the city. Here we are again. This makes the third time that I've been spoken on this proposal. This is the first time in front of the council. The last 2 was in front of the Zoning and Planning Commission. Of course, this does not include the numerous times that I've been told that this property has been looked at for development in the past decades. What is so special about this parcel? It sits on a hill, and according to the plat development, a quarter of it is completely unusable. It's floodplain. Seems to be the only people that are interested in this are the developers who own the land, and I guess y'all, because we get a park out of this. What is the benefit of 250 plus homes that are being planned for this community? Will my tax rate go down? Maybe not. Will my water rates go down? Probably not. Will our roads get better? Absolutely not. This council seems to be more focused on infighting than fixing any issues that we've got going on in the city. The roads are junk. The water infrastructure is failing. And now we're planning on doubling down with the addition of these homes. My family moved to this city almost a decade ago, mainly because it's not Fort Worth, Dallas, Keller, Allen, Plano, Frisco, insert whatever town you want here, where there's 6 inches of space between the homes and rooftops stretching to the horizon. Yet it seems this is the direction that this city wants to go. We have in the past at the Planning and Zoning Commissions reluctantly suggested a compromise for the development, but so far it has been ignored. Probably due to the fact that the developers cannot make enough money with that configuration that we proposed. And while some concerns have been addressed, like access to Royal View, under the development proposal, once it is completed, the control reverts to the HOA. It will be only a matter of time until the HOA votes to open up to Royal View. I've seen it happen before in other places. There are several homes in this area that have been on the market for several months, and in some cases years, with absolutely no action on them whatsoever. And they're all in the price point where this development is wanting to sit. So now we're going to add more inventory to a market that's stagnant. In conclusion, I do not want to stare at the backside of a 36-foot tall, 3,000 square foot plus McMansion 50 yards from my driveway. My neighbors oppose this. The entire west side of the city opposes this. We are your constituents. We elected you. You work for us. And we are saying no to this. Vote accordingly.
Yes? You good? Thank you very much. Okay, item 6, discussion action to allow developer and staff to proceed with the creation of the development agreement for the proposed residential development consisting of approximately 82.37 acres situated in the McCarver, say that right, survey abstract 910, the West Franklin survey, abstract number 468, the M.M. Edwards survey, abstract 1955, and the J.B. Wynn survey, abstract 1637, a portion being within the ETJ and the remainder within the city limits of the city of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas. This item has no sponsor on the posted agenda, but Chelsea Kirkland, our city planner, is listed on the briefing memo. Please step forward, Chelsea, if you have anything to add to this item. There she is. Right at me.
I'm going to read Tony's brief. I feel like I should do a cheer up here or something. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As was presented on the City Council meeting July 8, 2025, property owner Brothers in Christ LLC and developer Squirberg Company in partnership brought forth the master planned residential community proposal and presentation for the Clarion and the Heights at Clarion, previously referred to as the Bluff. Although the subdivision name may change, this residential development will consist of 244 residential lots ranging from 5,000 square feet to 19,800 square feet and one 17-acre park with amenities to be dedicated to the city. Per the discussion of Mayor Palmer and city staff, the developers presented their subdivision proposal at the council meeting on July 8th. They were to return on July 22nd meeting to address questions from council and the residents' questions received by staff in that time. Since this did not happen, the developers return at this meeting to answer those questions as well as some frequently asked questions. At this meeting, City Council is requested to take action to proceed with the creation of the developers agreement for this subdivision, a document which mirrors the terms in the attached presentation, which include voluntary annexation of approximately 64 acres into the city of Willow Park. A finalized document will be presented to City Council for review and approval, after which time the subdivision will be presented to Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council for approving the plat and rezoning from R1 to a planned development district of multi-residential zoning. City staff recommends that the City Council proceed with the development agreement as presented. Brian Holland with Squirberg Company is here and available for any council questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Bryson Adams and Squirberg Company for their transparency in providing our citizens with the opportunity to review the development plans and to answer any questions from the public. So thank you for that. At this point in time, I reckon the motion is stated on the attached agenda. Are there any motions from the council? Yes, please.
And you may, I believe it says that there's the 64 acres that is still, that's in the ETJ. Is that the total amount that's outside of it? Do we have that? And sorry, I'm asking another question, but for our purposes, what, we're talking about going from R1 to a planned development district. As the property currently sits in the ETJ, is there zoning? Can you explain the zoning for ETJ? What can be built there? Some of those things as compared to R1 and bringing it in as a planned development, and the thought process there, please.
Council, my name is Brian Holland. I'm with the Squirberg Development Company. Good to see you tonight. Thanks for your time. To answer your question, in the ETJ, there's no development regulations, there's no zoning. So, you know, as long as you can get water and sewer to the property, then you can pretty much develop it for whatever you like. So it could be industrial, it could be a trailer park, it could be really just any number of things that you could do as long as you can figure out how to service the property. Does that make sense? So there's no zoning and there's no entitlement, and no regulation.
Go from R1 to a planned development.
Well, when you bring it into the city, we're voluntarily annexing it in. We're trying to do a transition zoning, so we're being sensitive to our 1 acre neighbors. We're doing large lots adjacent to them. And then we're transitioning as we move closer towards the commercial and kind of the smaller lots on the Trinity, where the project to the south of us is located. So you want to put like product next to like product. And so what we're doing is transitioning from small lots on the south and west side to the larger lots on the east side.
So R1 opens it up, they have to stick specifically to R1 development. In a PD, they're allowed to go from
Mixture of
R1 to mixed family to R5 too. So it allows them the flexibility to get all that done.
Yeah, R1 is just a straight zone, So PD allows.
I do have a quick question on the bigger lots that are buttered up against. Just want to take a second, but
on the lots, because I know that was a big concern when this came to us in P and Z before about small housing, super dense, things like that. How big are the lots that are going to be next to our R1 and, the multi-acre lots?
Those are all about 20,000, just under 20,000 square feet. So about a little less than a half an acre lots.
Any other questions? Discussion?
We did do a question and answer, an FAQ that we provided to the city, and I think the council got that in their packet, but it is online. The staff's put that online along with our full MOU memorandum of understanding. It's got a lot more detail to it. So, the public can go there and look at all that. But it's a pretty detailed question and answers, and it was based on our multiple conversations with council and the neighbors.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, do we have a recommended motion, as stated on the attached memo? Do you have any motions?
I'll make a motion to allow developer and staff to proceed with the creation of the development agreement for the proposed approximate 82.37 acres situated in the McCarver Survey, abstract 910, the W. Franklin Survey, abstract number 468, the M. Edwards Survey, abstract 1955, and the J.B. Wynn Survey, abstract 1637, portion within the extraterritorial jurisdiction and remainder within the city limits of the city of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas.
Okay, do we have a second? Sean, second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. Okay, item 7, discussion action to consider approval for the Christmas lighting contract with Murphy Christmas Lights in the amount of $46,955.16. This item was sponsored by Councilman Crummell, the city staff. Council, is there a motion, or would you like to discuss? Discussion action, I would like to see the city pursue gathering sponsorships from local businesses and residents to offset the city's cost on Christmas decorations around the city of Willow Park. Did we look at for any companies within Parker County to keep our tax dollars close to home? Does anybody know? Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Mayor Plummer. Can everybody hear me okay? I do the vast majority of the fundraising for our miscellaneous events, and a lot of that's transitioning to Mandy now, but historically I have been the one who has dealt with our local businesses and various stakeholders in the community. Times are tight. Sponsors are very hard to come by.
there are a lot of hands that are out in this community of causes that are extremely important, such as children's causes, school causes. YMCA is passing the plate around right now. We are on an extraordinarily tight timeline. We would have to have this money raised in probably about 60 days or less. We are already asking for sponsorships for the police department National Night Out event. So this would mean us sticking our hand out a second time. I am not at all opposed or against the idea of looking at some sort of structure for years going forward that might help us offset this cost. But at this late date for this year, I think it's an extraordinarily unrealistic plan.
Yes, lucky me got to be attached to the Christmas lights for they'll show up one time to be the alternate mayor pro tem serving at a council meeting, and that was on the agenda. So therefore, I'm your Christmas lights guy. I discussed several options with Tony, who couldn't be here tonight. Obviously, the fundraising idea I like because it would provide relief from something coming out of a general fund or anything like that. To Rose's point with the tight timeline, I think if we could find the solution and the number that works, if we can approve, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like approve an amount up to, and then take the rest of that time to then begin the fundraising. So we have the funds as if needed, then as we bring in those funds, they could be deducted from that. Therefore, we have the allocated amount needed, but we also have the ability to still go out and get funds if that would be an appropriate solution for you. The other things would be, if we wanted to knock this price number down, we could look at just doing City Hall or just doing one of the parks or removing some of these line items as well as not. Obviously, I love Christmas. I love the lights around the city. I don't think there's anybody that would be in disagreement with loving Christmas lights. It's just a fun way to do it. But at the same time, if we did want to be more budget conscious, if you look at removing everything but say the tree, the lights, and the accessories that we would typically do at City Hall, you take that number down from, I think we're at 46.9 right now, all the way down to around 34. You'd probably get it down closer to 30 if we didn't add a garland or wreath here or there. It always feels like somebody's always getting rid of a Christmas tree somewhere as well that we could throw up in a corner and let staff bring their own ornaments if you wanted and put a personal touch. There are little things we could do. That's maybe an exaggerated version of it, but just depending on council and what we feel the appropriate amounts would be, I'm open to any and all suggestions on that. Like I said, Tony and I had discussed making it City Hall centric, letting the parks remain the parks as is, maybe letting the public safety building be decorated by fire and police as they so desire if they wanted to do that. So any thoughts or further discussion from mayor or council? Welcome.
What did we pay last year?
So I had asked Murphy, the only difference from last year's budget to this year's budget is I was looking into possibly lighting the bridge at Cross Timbers Park this year, and so that was an additional 3,000. So that's the only difference from this year to last year.
Say that again.
The difference is $3,000 from last year to this year. That it's for a park item that I just asked them to quote me on, and they put it in here.
For a 3-year term, right? And it would be, this is a 1-year amount that they want this locking in this contract. Is this on a year-to-year basis? Is
It's a year-to-year basis.
This might be a 4-year-old line. Does ESD have any skin in the game as far as the leasing option from? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if that was a part of their leasing agreement with the, okay.
really just open the council discussion, what our appetite is for.
So I have a question. Murphy, is it located in Roanoke, and what led us to Roanoke? Is that right? Who's connected to Roanoke, or how does that work?
So Tony Fisher, was the original one getting the Christmas lights to Willow Park. So she had worked with them previously at the city of Alito when she worked at the city of Alito. That's how we got them. There is no connection to Roanoke other than her connection with them through the city of Alito.
I do know that Tony did go out and get quotes from several different companies initially. to do that one.
In 2022. In 2021, she went out and got quotes. They were the cheapest at that time.
That's the last time we did quotes in 2021.
Yes, yes,
We didn't quote it recently.
no. Because they were significantly cheaper than everybody else. So
I will say I did have a friend from elementary, junior high, high school that does this for a living. Not to include him as the conversation, but I did ask him if these were comparable rates, and he felt confident that his would be in and around that same amount if his name was to be entered into the bidding for that. That's from one high school buddy to this, that just trying to price it out and making sure that we were at least on par with what others in that industry do charge. So.
Do we know what buildings are gonna be decorated, which ones aren't? I mean, because we don't even know what they are.
So the buildings that we currently decorate are City Hall. And then we decorate the public safety building or the police department building. And then we do Memorial Park, do the trees, a few trees at Cross Timbers Park. And then the bathroom has lights on it. We do the gazebo at Memorial Park. And then we have some trees, the solar lights at Kingsgate Park. So as far as buildings, two, unless you count the bathroom. Okay.
Thank you.
You just gave a developer an award, probably pitch it.
Okay. So are we gonna make a motion to go with the lower amount? Is that what you want to do, Nate? And just have the focus on City Hall? Is that where you want to go with the motion to go that direction instead of the full 46,955?
We know if we can piecemeal it out with the contractors, this and all, or like, I know that they have a list here of everything that they kind of itemized for us, and it would be, I'm trying to figure out, is this an all or nothing? Is this an all or nothing contract? Is this something that could be line item as well? And we could prioritize based on making sure that we had our City Hall items covered first, and then if additional fundraising or anything comes in, we could.
So yeah, if we're gonna sign this contract, it'll be just what we signed or what we agree upon tonight. We can't add something later because in fact, we were supposed to have this to him in July, so we're already behind. If that answers your question.
Never knew I'd be called upon for all this Christmas light discussion. It does say that obviously a deposit will be required right away. That amount is in $23,477.58. That amount pretty much matches what we would get for just the Christmas tree at City Hall. I guess my thoughts on this for council would be to approve an amount not to exceed, and then as we decide what needs to be done, or do we want to take it, sorry, I'm thinking through this as we go, but as City Hall, in my opinion, has to be done. That's what we're, for sure. These other line items, I love them. I can live without them. Now, we did have Mr. Voorhees earlier talk about how great some of these things look around our city, and I would agree with that as well. So I don't want to take that away, but I also want to be good stewards of our money as well as we do this. So I guess my thoughts would be to take care of City Hall this year, just City Hall. We'll look towards future plans get ahead of the raising of capital from local businesses for next year. And then possibly seek to grow from there. But my recommendation to council tonight would be to just do all the lighting associated with City Hall that has it in front, to leave Cross Timbers, Memorial Park, Public Safety, and Kingsgate off of this year's, which I believe, like I said, should equal an amount fairly close to 34,000 as compared to the 46,900. That does include the Christmas tree. We still have anything that has City Hall listed at the precursor. So it would be the roof line, the garland. Yeah, the City Hall by itself would be $34,067. And then like Memorial Park line items were at 3,650. Cross Timbers at 3,414. Kingsgate 3,500. Public Safety Building 3,800. So. Well, then I'll just go ahead and say, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the 2025 Christmas lighting contract with Murphy Christmas Lighting in the amount not to exceed $34,100 for the purposes of lighting the City Hall specific Christmas lights.
No, I don't think we can.
I don't think we can do that. Can we take statements from the audience during the meeting?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. A new last session that allows the public to speak on every agenda. Sure.
Here's your microphone. Thank you.
Oh, we have 3 businesses here in town. We work with them. We work with the past people and all on the Christmas stuff, as Brown and them know. And whatever y'all vote on for the Christmas stuff, if we're shy, we'll do the rest of it. We have a bunch of them. Yeah, I'm Rod Foreman, but whatever the city's shy on for the Christmas decorations, we'll tend to the rest of it.
Say your name again.
Rod Foreman.
Perfect. Thank y'all so much. Very generous. I'm sorry. Let's don't yell, okay? He is offering, if we come up shy with the difference that Nate and we are talking about as the council, to the 46,955, you're making up the difference for that with your businesses. Is that right? Thank you so much. Thank you. That's wonderful. Okay. So we have a motion. Nate has a motion. Do we have a second? Greg, second. All in favor? All in favor? Hey. Okay, so the nays, we have one. One, okay. 3-1. Okay. All right, so I guess the motion passes with 3-1. Okay, item 8, discussion action for approval of contract proposal for professional services by Westwood Professional Services, Inc. for TxDOT Green Ribbon Grant Program Award in the amount of $80,000. This item is sponsored by city staff and Mandy McCarley. Our Parks Director is listed on the briefing memo. Please step forward, Mandy. She's already standing there looking at me. If you have anything to add to this item, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. as you know, June 5th, we were awarded $400,000 from TxDOT for our Green Ribbon grant. So that is to help beautify along I-20 frontage, if y'all don't know what Green Ribbon is. And so this contract with Westwood is they will handle the whole project. And from start to finish, they'll help us with TxDOT. We had a call yesterday with TxDOT. Dorothy with Westwood was on the call with us. And so they will be the ones helping us beautify our city on the west side, on the Weatherford side. That's the north side, however you want to look at it. And so the proposal is for the contract proposal from Westwood in the amount of $80,000, and this will go through 2026. All right, we have a contract with Westwood to help with our Green Ribbon grant that we were awarded for $400,000, and the contract with Westwood is $80,000. Any questions?
Okay, there's a motion for discussion or action from the city council. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so recommended motion is stated on the attached memo. Is there a motion?
What is that 80? I mean, what exactly is that beautification that we're doing on that particular area for 80,000?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, Mandy.
Back at ya.
So Green Ribbon is exactly kind of how it sounds. We're adding green space over there, so beautification. So it'll have, grasses, flowers. TxDOT asked us not to plant trees because there might be some expansion on I-20 in the next couple of years. So we're following TxDOT's guidelines, and hopefully we will have a sign for Willow Park over there. That's not part of this $400,000 grant. That's something else we'll have to come up with later as a signage, as a gateway signage coming in. Does that answer questions?
I was trying to figure out where the garage is, Micus Road and
Do you know where Davy Vestal Monuments, where the bank and Davy, it's right there. That, yes. Other side. Oh, yes, okay, yes. Okay. They're gonna oversee the entire project. With us, we'll have staff involvement as well, so they don't, yes, sorry, yes, yes.
Okay, so do we have a recommended motion as stated on the attached memo? Is there a motion from council?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for professional services with Westwood Professional Services, Inc. as presented in the amount not to exceed $80,000.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor? Okay, motion passes.
That Councilman Crowell that seconded.
Yes. Okay. Now, item 10, discussion action, consider approval of 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe PPV. Oh, sorry. It's stuck. 9. Okay. Number 9, consideration action to appoint 2025 planning and zoning commissioners for place 2 and alternate. This item is sponsored by city staff. I'm happy to present this item for the briefing memo and pursuant to the city code 14.16.003 I am recommending Michael Chandler for appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission in place 2 to fill the vacancy created by Scott Smith, was appointed to the city council last week. So Michael, there's Michael. Okay, thank you. Okay, as the mayor, I'm appointing Marcy Galley. I missed it. All right. As the mayor, I'm appointing Marcy Galley as alternate 1 and Levi Alder as alternate 2 to fill those vacancies on the Planning and Zoning Commission per City Code 14.16.003A2. Council, is there a motion to discuss or action? Council? Okay, there's a second. Okay, second for Nate. Okay,
One discussion point, because I do believe we already had, I thought we had 2 alternates previous to my departure.
who was the other one? We didn't see one. Couldn't find one. We found Michael. Michael was the only one.
I thought we had 2.
Yeah. We asked Michael. I know, we were looking. Okay, he was the only one. Okay, that's what we found when we looked. We weren't sure. Okay. So we had a second. So all in favor? Okay. Motion approved. Okay, now item 10. Discussion action, consider approval of 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe PPV vehicle as surplus and approval to sell to Aledo ISD Police or send to auction. Lieutenant Hamilton, please come up and brief the council on this item.
Yes, you do. Speak loud. Oh, right there.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So we have what you have before you is a 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe that we no longer, can you hear me?
They can't hear you. Come on. Loud.
So what you have before you is a 2016 Chevrolet Tahoe that we have that we no longer utilize and patrol. Basically sits in the parking lot at this point. We're looking to be able to surplus that vehicle where we can sell it to either Aledo ISD or send it to auction. So any questions you all have?
What's Aledo offering?
Aledo is offering 15,000.
Yeah. Oh, right here. That's Sean.
They offer almost all the blue book value of it.
Fully equipped as a decent.
It is not fully equipped. That car, we've stripped that car down. It was a CID vehicle for a little while. Now it's no longer being utilized. Any other questions?
I have one. Does the sale of, to Aledo ISD Police need to go through the buy board?
No, if you approve it as surplus, we can sell it to them as is.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so recommend motion is stated on the attached memo. Do we have a city council motion? Okay, and a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Great, okay. Now we're going to item 11. Discussion action, consider approval of 2025-2026 agreement for police radio dispatching service by Parker County. Chief Lacy, there he is.
I can probably handle it without.
You can do it. All right.
I'll
let's
use
go.
my baritone voice.
There you go.
So. Yeah.
So remember, come right there when they got Chief Lacy. There you go.
For all the people in the other world. So Mayor and Council, tonight, what we're covering, there are two interlocal agreements that the city of Willow Park has with the county of Parker County through the sheriff's office. The first one is the one you're seeing tonight. We do our dispatching service, our communications, which is receiving the telephone calls, dispatching the officers, using the radio frequencies that they have. The second one is the jail, which I don't have tonight, but I will have at the next meeting. So they propose these each year. They run from October 1st to September 30th of each year. And this is the interlocal agreement for our communications, our person who answers the phone when you call for help. They dispatch our officers. They provide us the radio frequencies, not the radios themselves. And this was presented to us to continue on with that service. It's the 2025, October 1, 2025 to September of 2026. It's $107,908.15. And in case anyone wonders, I cannot put in a dispatch center for that amount of money. I cannot even staff a dispatch center for that amount of money. So we've had this agreement here in the city for quite a few years. It's not anything unknown to me. I've had these in other areas that I've worked as a chief. And the staff recommends, and I recommend that we continue that good relationship with the sheriff's office and with Parker County, and we approve that. And if y'all vote to approve that, I have the actual agreement. It'll only require the mayor's signature, and then I have to return it to the sheriff's office, and it will go to the county judge, and then it'll be in place, and we'll still be able to talk on the radio.
Thank you, Chief Lacy. Okay, recommended motion is stated on the attached memo. Do we have a motion from the council?
Make a motion to accept as presented by Chief Lacy.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you, Chief Lacy. We're done. Okay, item 12, proclamation on the next step enabling the city of Willow Park to adopt a home rule charter. I'm very excited tonight to be advancing this important process for our citizens. Pursuant to the Texas Local Government Code, Section 9.002 D1C, the mayor of the municipality appoints a charter commission, and the charter commission will proceed with drafting a proposed charter for the municipality. Okay, the proclamation. Whereas in accordance with the provisions of the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 9, cities with a population of 5,000 or more are authorized to adopt a home rule charter to provide for the structure, power, duties, and authority of their local government. And whereas the city of Willow Park has reached the population threshold to exercise this privilege of local self-government pursuant to the resolution number 2023-10 approved on November 14th, 2023, enabling its citizens to define the framework for their city's future. And whereas establishing a home rule charter requires a thorough and thoughtful process, beginning with the formation of a representative charter commission tasked with drafting a proposed charter for consideration by the citizens. And whereas pursuant to the Texas Local Code 9.002D, the mayor is authorized to appoint a charter commission to undertake this vital work composed of qualified and dedicated residents willing to serve their community in this capacity. Now, therefore, I, Teresa Palmer, Mayor of the City of Willow Park, Texas, do hereby appoint the following individuals to serve on the Home Rule Charter Commission for for the city of Willow Park? Breathe. Okay. Candy Blackstock, Daryl Bugner, Carol Bracken, Michael Chandler, Mary Dietrich, Charles Gilchrist, Gwendolyn Galley, David Lorenzo, Jean Martin, Dixie Smith, Jonathan Stickland, Brian Von Hatten, Charles Hodges, and Judge Roy Kerbin. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this, today's date. We had a very large amount of people turn in the paperwork. We had 28 residents volunteer for home rule, so those numbers are wonderful. And I believe we got down to 14 on here with a max of 15 that we had. So we got down to 14 on the list, but 28 citizens wanted to be on that commission.
Your criteria for selecting.
Basically went through each of those and looked at the qualifications of the individuals, and that's pretty much how I did that as the mayor. I'm sorry, there was a question. Say it again, I'm sorry. Loud. Hmm. She said she was glad that it was not behind closed doors. Did I hear that right? That we did it right here? Okay. Thank you. KJ, I'm sorry, say that loud. The list should be the city should be able to post that, and mayor's site is going to post it also, so the city can post that. That's where you should find that. Okay, so items 13 through 18 will be discussed in executive session under the following Texas Open Meetings Act exceptions. Item 13 is the Toledo's Chapter 380 agreement, sections 551.071 consultation with the attorney, and 551.087 economic development discussions. Item 14 is Far Out Hospitality, Chapter 380 agreement, sections 551.071, consultation with the attorney, and 551.087 economic development discussions. Item 15 is proposed residential development consisting of approximately 82.37 acres situated in the MacArthur Survey Abstract 910 and the West Franklin Survey Abstract number 468, the M.M. Edwards Survey Abstract 1955, and the J.B. Wynn Survey Abstract 1637, a portion being within the ETJ and remainder within the city limits of the city of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.087, economic development discussions. Item 16 is Dean Ranch Development. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.087, economic development discussions. Item 17 is personnel matter, City Brian Grimes. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.074, personnel matters. Item 18 is interim city manager, section 551.071, consultations with attorney, and 551.074, personnel matters. The time is now 7:50, and the council will now convene into executive session. Thank you.
I would like to point out that this is the first time that I am aware of in 34 years that the citizens have been seated above the council so they can look down on them rather than the other way around.
Okay, we're in open session. Too many crickets. It's 10:45 at night. Okay.
Stand by. All right, now you're live.
Okay, we're back in open session. It's 10:45 on items 13, 14, 15, and 16. Counselor, is there any motion on any chapter 380 agreements?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the 380 agreement to extend the primary term for 1 year in exchange for the addition of a fire suppression system and to set a new date of opening to begin on or after April 1st, 2026. And that is in regards to item 13, negotiations with Politos.
All in favor? Okay, motion's passed. Okay, number 17, personnel with city manager. No, we didn't have any vote. We didn't have any action on anything else, right? Okay, so we're good to go? Okay, so no action on 14, 15, 16. So now we're going on to 17, personnel matters on the city manager. And we have discussion or motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize the city attorney to negotiate a severance agreement with the city manager, subject to final approval by the mayor and city attorney.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so it's all opposed. Okay, 3-1, so it passes. Okay, so number 18, we're not prepared to do anything on that one. And on number 19, we're not prepared to do anything on that one either until we get resolution on the others. We need to make a motion on that? No action? No?
It's either table or no action. I'd say both 19 and 20.
So no action? Okay. And number 19, we're kind of right back there again, so no action on that one either tonight. Make sense? Okay. 19 and 20, so that's where we are on those. 21, we have council comments. Do we have any comments?
Well, thanks, staff. I know it's been a rough few months, and so I appreciate all they've been going through, and so thank you very much, staff. Mirror that,
Great.
for staff as well, and also prayers for Dina, our family right now. And we've got some staff that are out sick as well.
Still else. Item number 22, city manager comments.
I was just going to echo what Sean said.
Okay. So item 23. So item 23, I'm pretty sure that everyone is suffering from meeting fatigue. So I don't think we need to hold a second council meeting this month. I'm announcing cancellation of the August 26th regular meeting. I would like staff to coordinate pushing out the budget calendar by 2 weeks. This should give us plenty of time to approve our budget and tax rate before the end of September. I would also like to see the agenda packet materials completed and provided to the council 10 days in advance of every meeting, instead of us waiting till the last minute every Friday that the staff is having to move really fast to get that done. That actually gives the councilman more time to review and come prepared to meetings, but also relieves the stress of the staff in providing materials on a regular basis. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, second? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you.